welcome back, everybody, to Layton versus Wright. We've just figured out, we are now questioning Mailer's statement. The one who stole the letter using a portal spell and swapped it with the blank sheets of parchment, the witch. Oh, I hate her.
Maybe I did. Maybe I spilled the beans about the letter, I mean. Maybe I told the butler.
You did what?
Well, because you see, me and the butler are sort of friends. And it was about our dear Sir Belduke. I feel like I might have told her about it after all. See? If I did, that's how she knew about the recipient, I mean.
I understand that you're friends with Miss Grey Earl and you want to help her out. But I've got a piece of advice, Miss Mailer. You shouldn't lie, even for a friend.
Huh?
Remember your testimony. You told us about the courier's duty to keep the details of letters confidential, and you have also testified that you've never broken that obligation, remember?
Ah!
What the heck just happened there? But hold on just a minute. As the victim's butler, Jean Grey Earl might have had a chance to catch a glimpse of the envelope.
Objection!
No, she didn't. When Miss Mailer came with the delivery, Sir Belduke was still writing that letter. In fact, he was in the middle of it. At that time, the letter had not been addressed yet. And the next morning when the body was discovered, the letter was already in the letterbox. Keep in mind that Miss Grey Earl would have had no opportunity to see it then either. Is that so? She went to report the crime without even setting foot in the study. And then Miss Mailer appeared and retrieved the letter. Needless to say that Miss Grey Earl couldn't have learned of the letter's recipient afterwards. Or maybe you have a good explanation, Miss Grey Earl. I'd very much like to hear one. Can you please tell the court how you found out the recipient's name?
Mr. Wright.
Yes?
Do you remember what I said when I was called to the witness stand?
Yes. Yes, I did. At the heart of alchemy
lies the pursuit of the rules and logic that govern nature. You have demonstrated the power of your own logic.
Miss Grey Earl, are you saying...
Yes, I confess. The abhorrent witch who used the spell Godor to swap the contents of that letter, and who took the life of Master Belduke, it was none other than I.
Wow, that's a lot to say. That was pretty easy for her to come clean with that. I feel like there's more to it than just that.
I was an only child born to a poor family. I've been a witch since I was very little. When did I become aware of it? I don't remember. Although I was but a...
I was saying born to a bung family. I was like, what the heck does that mean?
Although I was but a young child, I knew that being a witch was a crime. That's why I hid my witch's scepter and wouldn't use magic at all. My father worked as a bricklayer. He toiled every day, but we could hardly make ends meet. One winter day we couldn't afford to pay the rent. We were going to lose the house. My mother was in tears and my father was sitting with his head down, wordless.
I want money for Mummy and Daddy.
That day I suddenly remembered about the witch's scepter that I had hidden.
The Godor spell.
I thought I'd try it just once, casting the spell. But at the time I had no idea what an irreversible mistake that would be. Even though no one told me, I knew from the very beginning what magic I was able to use. What should I turn into gold? I was thinking about a really hard little girl that I was. Something that wouldn't stand out, that could be taken for a work of art. Then I decided I chose a pretty leaf that had fallen into our garden. But it wasn't the right thing to do after all. I was terribly punished for using magic even just the once.
Punished? In what way were you punished?
I placed the leaf down in the back garden and cast a spell, but then Margaret suddenly walked in front of me.
Margaret?
My closest childhood friend. Margaret, right before my eyes, she was turned into gold.
Oh dear me.
I screamed and cried, but I knew I couldn't ask anyone for help. If anyone had seen it, they would have known it was the work of magic, and I knew Margaret wasn't coming back. That's terrible. Then my mother and father's faces flashed before my eyes. We may have been very poor, but we were always happy together. Had I been captured as a witch, I fear my parents probably wouldn't have been safe either. That thought that tormented me more than anything, and so I made the decision. I decided to end my own life.
Oh geez, this is so sad.
I threw myself into the river near the town. It was winter and the water was as cold as ice. I couldn't even move. It was painful. My consciousness started drifting away. The next thing I knew, I was in Master Belduke's residence. He risked his own life jumping into the freezing river to save me. I burst into tears and told him everything. I didn't want to go back home. I would only end up causing my parents grief. Master Belduke listened to me without interrupting, and then he told me this.
You can stay here, but from now on, you must live as a boy.
That doesn't make sense. Oh, because I guess it makes sense, actually.
Master Belduke met with my parents and explained everything to them. They were very sad, but they agreed it would be best if I didn't return home. Poor Miss Grey Hero. That must have been so awful for her. Master brought the house for my parents, so they wouldn't have to worry about paying rent anymore. As for Margaret turned to gold, he brought her to his residence. He knew that if anyone saw her, they would report an incident of witchcraft.
And this Miss Margaret, is she still in that golden state?
Yes, she is.
That's strange. We've received no reports of anyone by that name having gone missing.
Margaret is being kept in the basement under Master's study.
The basement? Correct me if I'm wrong, but this Margaret, is she
Yes, my dear friend was a goat that we were keeping at our house.
Goat?
Until then, Master Belduke had mainly been researching medicine, but since the incident with Margaret, he became known as an alchemist.
So that's when he became an alchemist. I was wondering why the goat was the only thing not covered in dust. Oh, wow. I forgot about that.
That's how I started a new life as Master Belduke's butler.
Sir Belduke would sometimes work as a physician, curing the townspeople of their illnesses. As his assistant, you have also shown commitment to helping the townspeople through your work.
I forgot about being a witch and was able to live happily at peace with everyone. I thought I could stay like that forever.
But those peaceful days came to an abrupt end. Tell us what in the world was the cause.
Even I am not quite sure what led to this, however. It all started 3 months ago with that lightning strike. Master Belduke and I went on our way back home carrying specimens for experiments. An old bell tower appeared in the flames. Everyone who saw it was stupefied. But the expression on Master Belduke's face was unlike anything I'd seen before.
What do you mean?
His face went pale and twisted in sheer terror. He was shaking violently. It wasn't just astonishment at an unusual phenomenon. It seemed as if he was afraid of something more concrete.
Perhaps Sir Belduke saw something that others couldn't.
He cancelled his experiments for that night and began writing a letter to someone.
A letter?
I found out about it when I brought him his bottle of tomato juice. He was writing feverishly as if he were possessed. I saw some things. A few words in that letter. Expose everything. Cannot keep this secret any longer. The truth about the witch.
Oh, yikes.
Master Belduke was going to confess that I was a witch. Everything went black in front of my eyes. I will never forget the feeling that overwhelmed me at that moment.
Is that when you decided to commit the crime?
What I did first was accidentally singe a part of the wall in my room. It was an excuse to repaint that section of the wall green.
Then you also painted the wall behind that painting in Sir Belduke's study.
And when that fateful night came, I used a syringe to inject soporific through the cork and into the bottle of tomato juice. So many thoughts were running through my head as I wished Master a good night. I opened the portal behind him. He was right there in front of me, asleep. I reached for the letter in the letterbox, taking care not to wake him. And then I happened to notice the name on the envelope. Storyteller. When I read that name, the world all around me turned black once more. It's impossible to avoid what is written by the storyteller. It seemed as if I could hear the doors to our escape routes shutting closed. It was the sound of despair. I would like you to believe me, that the thought of taking Master Belduke's life never once occurred to me. I only planned to see that letter and then disappear. But as I looked upon Master sleeping there in front of me, at that moment I felt an evil presence awaken within me. Why did he save my life? And why did he betray me? Before I realized what I was doing, my hands were clutching his neck. He didn't move at all, so I kept on clenching his neck.
Yeah, this is quite the story.
That's it. That's the truth about what happened 3 months ago.
There was just one thing I failed to understand.
Yes?
You said you wanted to run away once you had stolen the letter. Yet despite that you continued to live in Sir Belduke's residence, and now here you stand. Why did you not run away?
My life had been thrown into disarray due to the absurdity of magic. I had learned all about alchemy living in Master's residence. Alchemy is concerned with the logic that governs the world. I wanted to believe that there truly was such a thing. So I stayed in that place hoping to one day see the irrational nature of magic overcome by the power of reason.
Magic being overcome by reason.
That night, I swapped the letter with blank sheets of parchment and waited for the sun to rise. I resolved to wait for the day when my true identity could be exposed through reason and logic. Master's death remained a mystery for 3 months, and people started to lose interest. And then you appeared, Mr. Wright. On the day you visited the residence, I was listening to your conversation from the other room. As the time finally come for me, my heart was racing in anticipation. Then a few minutes after everyone entered that room, an unbelievable incident took place.
That incident?
The witch appeared in Master's study.
What?
I wanted to get a look at the witch, so I created a portal in the wall behind the painting. Precisely at that moment... Gildor!
Oh, that's creepy.
The witch used one of the very spells that I can use too. When I heard those words, a single thought flashed through my mind. This was my chance. I could dispose of my witch's scepter. I knew at the time what kind of a witch the Inquisition would be looking for.
A witch that can use Somalia and Goldor.
It occurred to me that I only needed to change one of the magic gems. I had previously found out that the Familia gem was purple. I realized that if I swapped the Goldor magic gem for my amethyst, I could pin the blame for my crime on that other witch.
So you changed one of the gems and threw the witch's scepter into that room, is that correct?
Exactly.
Wait a minute, Jean Greer, I keep saying John. This statement of yours is highly problematic. How so, Inquisitor Barnum?
Yes, you are right.
Can someone explain to me what this is about?
I am a witch indeed, a sinful creature that killed the person to whom she showed her life. However, regarding the gentleman standing next to you, Mr. Wright, he may have fallen victim to a witch, but that witch was not me.
Ah, oh. Wait, what? Zoomed up on his face. Order in the court! What is the meaning of this? Jean Greer, I keep saying, oh my god. You meant to killing Sir Belduke, but not to turning Sir Layton into gold. That is the gist of it, my lord. But lying about it is meaningless. Lying?
Just being a witch is a crime in itself, and the punishment for that crime is the same regardless of whether she took one person's life or two. That's why there's no point in lying about it. I'm sure that's what the judge is thinking.
Greer is still claiming she never laid a finger on the professor. But if there's no point in lying, does that mean that she must be telling us the truth?
So in that case, who's responsible for what happened to the professor? If it wasn't her, then who was it?
Mind if I say something? Take a hint, witness. Does it feel like this is the right moment for you to talk? Yeah, well, that's kind of what I was saying quiet till now. But what, I either say it now or never. Don't let me fall silent after saying that. It only makes it weigh on my mind more. Whatever did you want to say? Oi, Bluey. Yes? I need to make sure about something. Me head's not what it used to be, you know? Yes? The alchemist butler, Lady Butler. She slipped sleep medicine into his drink. That's correct. She laced his tomato juice with it. And then she strangled the alchemist afterwards? Yes, Sir Belduke was unconscious from the sleep medicine, so he didn't resist. And that explains why we found no signs of a struggle at the crime scene. Yeah, about that. I let slip earlier about what I did at the crime scene, right? I told you that I had a few sips of that juice. And the sleep medicine mixed in made you sleep like a log. Yes, we remember. Yeah, well, here's the thing. This is just between us, okay? You see, when I appropriated that juice, the juice bottle was, well, still unopened. It was unopened? Haha! Me throat was parched and I wasn't thinking straight. That brand new bottle was just there waiting for me with a corkscrew conveniently laid next to it. I couldn't just let that go to waste. I swiftly pulled out the cork and got to drinking. What? So in case you didn't get what I'm getting at, the alchemist didn't have a single drop of the juice with the sleep medicine. Huh? What? Alright, witness, you... Alright, we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Let's go.